Hello and welcome to Nomadic Diaries. We're so glad you're here. My name is Doreen Cumberford and I'm the host of Nomadic Diaries, and along with my co-host Megan Norton, we have created the Belonging Project. So before I became an expat coach, assisting and supporting global nomads in a variety of ways, and helping people navigate their transitions from countries to countries, I actually lived the experience myself. One of the experiences that I lived for 15 years was as an accompanying spouse uh, in Saudi Arabia. The book, Life in the Camel Lane, Embrace Your Adventure, actually chronicles the 15 years in Saudi Arabia. This was a journey that challenged everything I thought I knew about home, identity, and where I truly belonged. Today, I'm going to share an excerpt from that book that I believe speak directly to the heart of what we're exploring inside of the Belonging Project. This is from Life in the Camel Lane. Every adventure ultimately has its own unique anatomy and is a container for time, energy, and experiences. Arrivals, the adaptation process, and acclimatization are critical when we physically change geographical locations. In modern day society, we have access to such high-speed transportation methods that we often overlook the necessary steps for bringing ourselves fully present and into a mindful relationship with a new place and an entirely new people. Now, adaptation frequently demands some sacrifice, steely-eyed focus, and incredible tenacity. Enculturation to a new society can be a long, slow process, a process of falling in love with yet a new reality. Liminal living is the practice of living constantly in between two cultures and juggling them both. This journey requires that we take some actions, move out of our comfort zone, cross some thresholds, invisible ones, let me add, and leave behind some of our old ways, our beliefs, our old ideas, and our old lifestyles. Human nature somehow carries us forward through the journey of transformation, whether we're cooperating or resisting. Living liminally is often uncomfortable, disorienting, but nevertheless, Western women in Saudi Arabia were frequently required to do so and did so for not only years, but sometimes for decades. We did so with the benefit of new pastimes, new support systems, new skills, and new situations that ultimately led us in the direction of a new way of being. We learned to cross cultures, juggle time zones, languages, mindsets, political systems, all the while allowing these influences to inform a new way of being, a new wisdom, and an understanding about how life works. Eventually, we managed the messiness and the disruption, and we ultimately arrived at a new comfort zone where we reconciled ourselves to a different way of being and found comfort in an entirely new version of life, one that many of us had never even conceived of. So, by embracing and following love with this new iteration, we had the opportunity to expand ourselves and share our appreciation of other people and their unique ways of being. However, as expats, ultimately we pack up our memories, our belongings, our new experiences, and we move on. Nevertheless, we grieve. Those losses have a role to play in defining our new identities and our sense of belonging. That grief can define us, or it can serve to ignite and refuel us for new adventures. We can grieve the loss of friends who became family, the physicality of living somewhere like a desert, and all the wonderful experiences that served up to us. Not to mention distant lifestyles, colleagues, pastimes, and pets who get left behind. Ultimately, re-entry or repatriation require that we shift gears and eventually move home to commence a new life. After learning to communicate with other cultures, to live with grit and grace, constantly applying and practicing tolerance and compassion, it can be very challenging to resume that life back home. When we pack up for the homecoming, we also pack up new behaviors and hidden skills. We carry them onward, either back home or onto the next assignment. These newly gained perceptions and experiences can serve to build a foundation for the next adventure. The world is full of wanderers and settlers, and both are necessary for balance. If you are a wanderer or a wannabe adventurer, I hope that this work in life in the Camel Lane gives you the impetus to live outside your previous mental, emotional, and physical borders in order to explore and enjoy the wonder of this planet's people and its cultures. The way we choose to respond to a life of global mobility has the power to transform each of us into a new person. The life cycle of the expatriate constantly revolves around the idea of home, identity, and belonging. And though we may start as one shape, as our global heart grows, our internal geometry changes. And who knows what you might transform into. Thank you for joining me today on this little excerpt from Life in the Camel Lane. If today's episode resonated with you, I invite you to follow along on Nomadic Diaries, where we're continuing these conversations about the expatriate experience, cultural transitions, and finding your place in the world. Wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Overcast, etc., go ahead and join our community. You will find us at www.nomadicdiariespodcast.com. Until next time, wherever you are in the world, may you find a deep and abiding sense of belonging. And as we normally say when we conclude our episodes, sayonara, masalama, and hasta luego.